I'm alive.
Yep.
I'm going to just start every show with "And we're live" until I find something better. Actually, one of these days we're going to create an actual intro because I can do that. There's little options for it. So I can take clippings and small things from other places and play them like short videos or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so weird that, I mean, like I found some music that's duty free, I guess. You just have to say I found it here or it's so and so that you credit where credit's due. Okay, golden fluid matte medium. I use this on the 8th Pagoda. Now I want to go back and change his name to 8th Pagoda.
Okay.
Just because we've been calling him 8th Pagoda. All right. Probably should put my glasses on before I start.
Yeah.
It's like Def Leppard. It's too late.
Back when I needed glasses, I always thought, if I ever wanted to paint Impressionist,
yeah.
Take off my glasses and there it is.
It's an interesting point considering Boris Vallejo said that part of the reason for his success in painting as realistic as he can is because he's nearsighted.
Okay.
So he doesn't pick up all the little details. You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty cool way of thinking about it, approaching it, I guess.
Why not?
No, can.
You can.
We just discussed this.
You say yeah or no?
That is not what I. Yeah, that's a great answer. You hear him? You say
No.
Yes or no. Well, yeah, I said yes or no. That's it. Yes or no. That's the only option.
Get on 2:30.
You're gonna get home at 2:30
Yeah, 45 not that long.
after the bus.
Yep. See him. Can be dinner.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So, if you know this, I wasn't there when you were talking to your best friend.
It was They came in aeroplane on it.
I was waiting in the car. Problem is, the guy keeps promising him that he's going to come get him or come pick him up or go for a ride or whatever. And that's the extent of it. He tells him what he wants to hear, and then so he goes on for the next 6 months. He'll be talking about Jared coming to get him when Jared's not coming to get him. But if you say something to him, he will throw an absolute shit fit. So,
Wow.
All right, I guess that would be it. All right, I gotta rinse this real quick. So I'm gonna put some music on.
All right. I'll try to refrain from dancing.
No, don't refrain from dancing. We need the viewers.
Yeah, that's gonna kill viewers.
Yep. All right. That wasn't very short. So, yeah. Tape down so that it remains as flat as it can. It's actually bubbled up a little bit, but it will lay back down because it's taped down. And since I've got this little stand that my wife just aimed at, well, put it where I can aim at the painting, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. And now that the brush is cleaned up, I'm not going to worry about it becoming a solid piece.
Okay.
So yeah, like I invited people to talk writing. I don't know if anybody's going to show up and talk writing, but I hope they do. So this is 11 by 14 Bristol board, just like comic book paper. It's just not 11 by 17, it's 11 by 14, it's a small size. And I put some matte medium on it so that I can paint over it without having to worry about smearing the pencil lines and whatnot. And the other reason is that with the matte medium on this, I can paint over those lines and make those lines disappear. Whereas without it, because of the nature of the porous paper, it will actually suck the paint into it and leave the edges of the lines there. I know, everybody really wanted to know that, huh? Well, some people might be curious.
Hey,
Drawing's pretty
Echelon
quick.
is here. Or
Very cool,
Echelon.
very cool.
Whatever your name is, you're here.
Echelon?
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell us how to pronounce that. Call it Esha for now. Said E before, but Eli used to that too. So call him Esh. I almost called him Escher if there was any one colors. I really, really, really like that green color, that green gold color, so kind of save that for last and try to get a wash over everything. Let's see, the normal culprits. Yeah, that dropped pretty quick with the fan on it. A little more. I want to tighten the paper up there. E-shower. Okay.
Aha!
Thanks. Now we can, call you Charlotte instead of E-Charlotte or E-Charlotte. Either way, we're not calling you something stupid or insulting you in a different language or something. Because that's not the goal.
So,
Marine or ultramarine blue? So, you can talk, I'm just trying to figure out. It's usually guys represented by a dark blue helmet. And I need to get some reds and stuff in there too.
well, I was just going to say, I was going through chapter 2 of The Great Gatsby today. And that's where T.J. Eichelberg gets introduced. And so I drew the billboard on my blackboard. And my juniors were like, oh, hey, you're not bad at that.
Oh, drawing?
They're like, you mean you can draw?
Well, you know, like, you can't really assume that.
I get that, but just they kind of assumed the opposite, and I was just like, oh well, yeah.
Is your handwriting shitty?
Oh God, yeah. It's terrible.
Well, for me, I guess my handwriting goes back and forth. But I generally, I don't really write in cursive anymore. Nobody reads cursive anymore.
Right.
So,
well, for the most part, my wife has been surprised at my handwriting on a chalkboard. Because she's been like, who'd you have write that on your board? Like, no, that's actually me trying to, be neat. But she thought it was completely somebody else.
Ultramarine blue. And cadmium red. So, you had a critique of that, or?
Oh, well, yeah. So, like, I noticed what I think is a mistake, because you use the word Roth as a noun, and everything I have says it's an adjective. So there was that. So
well, it is in place of anger.
Well, see, everything that I found was angry.
What's that?
Everything that I found said it was synonymous with angry and not anger.
Oh, I've seen it used that way. That's why I used it that way.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying I was like, I'm not sure that's right. So.
Well, like you said, I've seen it used that way.
Well, all right.
I mean, yeah, like, I don't know.
I'm just saying, my favorite dictionary site, that's how much of a nerd I am, wordnik.com, because it goes through multiple dictionaries and has them all up. And
well, I use the Oxford English Dictionary.
Yeah.
And I use dictionary.com, which usually refers to the Oxford English Dictionary.
Well, yeah, all right.
And they usually show the different tenses, but like I actually looked that up in the medieval dictionary. That doesn't guarantee anything, but I'm sure the person that is going to read that story is probably not going to pick that apart.
Well, I was just telling you what I found.
Anyway.
You can do whatever you want with it, but...
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm just telling you on WordNik, which looks at American Heritage, Century Dictionary.
That could be a thing, too, because it's really not American.
Well, I mean, the American Heritage is.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, that it's...
The usage.
Got it. Yeah, that could be.
Queen's English.
Is that Queen's English or is it King's English now?
Whatever, British.
Well, I know, but I was
English.
Like,
yeah, I mean, I get what the question is, but what I'm saying, like, I've always been taught it's the Queen's English because there's always been a queen, so I guess it's a valid question. I'm not saying it's invalid or anything. I'm just saying whatever. You know what I'm talking about, and that's
Yeah, I know.
the core of it.
That's fine. But I didn't notice any problems with it. Other than the one nitpick.
Well,
it's not done, obviously.
What?
It's obviously not
done.
finished. Please tell me you don't think it's done.
No. No, it's not even a quarter of the way done. It's supposed to be 10,000 words.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
It's just about a fifth of the way done. Actually, it's just getting, yeah. So if you think about it in terms of Shakespearean storytelling, there's part one act one is introducing the character.
Right.
Like David Farland shortened it down into a 3-act, or somebody else shortened it down into a 3-act structure, but we're actually talking about introducing the characters. The first one, I wanted to introduce characters and characterization. What my question was is because we had discussed narrative modes. And we were talking about whether or not it seems like it's in the right point of view, or one point of view. Like, obviously, because it's third person, it can move from points of view.
Yeah.
But it's not intended to at the moment. And like I said, our other writing buddy, whatever you want to call him, thought that it was kind of in violation of it when it picked back up after the first break, I think, where the three of them are looking down the burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically said it was his opinion, but that's what I was basically asking what your opinion was, because of the discussion we had related to it. Because as much as I feel like sometimes I don't agree with stuff, I also value it.
Right.
And I don't know like where you stand on it, but I thought you were telling me that you like a little bit more distance in the 3PL than basically writing like it's first person.
I don't know.
I leaned on that
I think there's a place for it.
as the character.
Sometimes it's good to take a step back and see a bigger picture.
Right. That's what I was trying to do with that, and that's what I guess what I'm asking, is whether it worked in that way, or because I went back and changed it a little bit, because when they were first looking down the hole, it just said those three characters, like 1, 2, and 3, were looking down the hole, and then it went into the lead character's observation.
Okay.
And I changed it before you saw it, but I didn't change a whole lot of that section, and that section in particular is what he was saying he thought was, I guess, too distant. I may have been misunderstanding him, but I'm pretty sure he was saying it was too distant. A little bit of irony there is that he agrees with you that narrative mode is shouldn't necessarily be one character's point of view. So, like, I've always thought of it, you're focusing on one character's wins, which is like what Brandon Sanderson is saying when he switches. Like he's got switching of point of view. Don't get me wrong, but he tries to stay within that character's lens.
Right.
Well, I guess really that's what I'm asking, is if it succeeded or it feels like it succeeded.
Well, I did not see a problem with it.
Okay. That, I guess that's, in the end, that's the important thing. We weren't distracted by the narrative mode, we were distracted by the voice. You were distracted by one word.
Well, no, I wasn't distracted by one word. I simply saw the one word and thought, I don't think that's right. So, I'm not saying I was distracted. I'm just am cognizant of what's going on.
Well, I mean, it distracted you. I mean, if you're saying it's a distraction that's just a writer's distraction, which is basically what you're saying, right? It's because you're a writer, you look at it and you're like, I don't think that's the right use of the word. But that is a distraction still. Hopefully writers are going to be reading it also.
Well, yeah, that's true. Oh.
I want to go out the water for some reason. It is not as easy to wipe this off of paper, basically, Bristol Board, as it is canvas or panel. What character am I painting now? He's called the Psycho-Slinger. He's a tattoo artist. See his tattoo machine right here? It just melded to his hand and the wire comes from his arm to his brain, so
It's a oh crap, what are those guys called? Oh, now I gotta look something up real fast so I can make a joke. Cenobite. It's a tattooing Cenobite.
it is not. It is not. It actually is closer to. You remember the movie Split Second? With Rutger Hauer?
I'm going to say no.
So, the creature that's like basically a monster that looks like this with no eyes, but it's like the Flash. It's like very quick.
Okay.
Not quite the Flash quick, but very quick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say I missed that one.
Huh.
To be fair, I was a freshman in high school when it came out.
And you didn't watch it?
Well, I was dating my wife at the time, so that might not have fallen under one of those things that she wanted to see, and I wasn't going to rent a whole bunch, because if I rented a movie, I had to, pay and stuff. That was before I had a job. And the theater that was in the town, so there's Syracuse, which sits on Wawasee and Lake Syracuse. And across the lake from that was where I lived. Not on the lake, mind you, just on the other side, further back, away from the water. So the theater in Syracuse is a tiny one-screen theater. And I doubt they would have had that. And then the next biggest one in '92 was probably about a half hour to 45 minutes away. So and again, I would have had to have been driven there, and so chances are, nope, never watched it, and then never really came up.
Well, to be honest, I don't think it was in the theaters. I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it on video.
Oh yeah, it lost money.
Well, it's really surprising because most of the people that I know have seen it. So
I'm just saying.
That doesn't mean anything. I'm not, not making any kind of commentary on.
Actually, I lied.
Anybody else.
I was an 8th grader when this came out, because it came out May 1st of '92.
92.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. I was not in school.
Huh. Anyway, no, I haven't seen it. I may have to ask one of my friends, because this sounds like a movie he'd like.
Like I said, most people I knew, especially at the time, saw it. It was, kind of like a cross between a cyborg like movie and a horror movie. So it was. I don't know. I guess I was surprised that you hadn't seen it because of the way you were referring to aliens, and it's basically pre-Predator Predator, or a similar to Predator type thing.
Well, the poster says Blade Runner meets Alien.
Yeah, Blade Runner is kind of. I don't think I agree. Of course, I don't remember the movie greatly, but it was. I didn't think that the city was futuristic. Maybe I didn't even pay attention to that. To me, it was much more like Runaway, as far as the city and time period goes. Maybe Close Future or something like that. Did you see that Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons?
I'm going to say no.
Wow.
You think of all kinds of things I don't know.
He had a gun. Tom Selleck had a gun that. No, I guess it was Gene Simmons had a gun that he could shoot the bullets, and they were heat seekers. So I think it's like they could program DNA or something like that.
Yeah. I think I've seen that image. But I don't think I saw. Maybe I have. Yeah, that's another big box office bomb. The budget was $8 million, and it made less than $7 million.
Yeah, they kept spending too much money on Gene Simmons.
Oh,
Actually, he and Gene Simmons, or Rutger Hauer and Gene Simmons were in a good movie called Wanted Dead or Alive. Which could never be a movie nowadays. Because Gene Simmons was playing a Middle Eastern terrorist.
oh,
Well, maybe it could because he was a Jewish terrorist.
hey, you know who directed Runaway?
It's been a while, so no.
Michael Crichton,
Oh yeah, okay.
who also wrote it.
Yep, I'm not surprised. He wrote Westworld and directed Westworld. He, I don't know, like, Clive Barker did a lot of directing of his own movies, too. Speaking of Cenobites. He wrote and directed that movie. He wrote and directed, obviously, Nightbreed, because that's based on Cabal. The Cenobites, I think, is based on the Books of Blood. Hellraiser.
No.
I really got to get to listening to that other music. I've been trying to get that written too, like the last couple of days. But my body's been off, my health has been off, so that's ultimately like why I was concerned with you, because I was having a hard day health-wise, and we discussed some of the similarities that we've had health-wise. And all of a sudden, you're not showing up with something that you normally do. I was like, wow, hopefully nothing bad's happened.
No, I was just dumb. Oh. I did not think I was going to sleep that one. Although I got to tell you, I laid down with the dog tonight and caught myself drifting off. I was like, oh crap, I got to get up. Can't do this. Twice in 1 week would not be nice. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm really tempted to not care about the wine. Because, I'm not sticking with them anyway.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking, if only I wasn't so impatient.
How long have you been waiting to do this?
Well, that's just symptomatic of me. I'm just impatient. It's not because I've been waiting to do this for a few years. It's because I want it to be like oil where I can just lay it down in the background and go on. But the thing is with oil, then it doesn't dry any quicker. It's just more opaque when you lay it down. My brain just don't have the ability to go, okay, stop with that. I know it's not where you want it, but it's the first layer. That's what I'm trying to teach my brain, as everybody was. It's not pretty. It's not supposed to be pretty yet. Don't worry about it being pretty yet.
Yeah.
My head's like, no, it's not where it's supposed to be, but because it's not pretty yet. When I work with acrylics, I like to work with round brushes. I don't have any really great size differences in my round brushes unless they have really long handles, and I don't want to be bumping into everything all night. And smaller ones don't have the coverage, you know.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, so that's what's missing. What color is missing that I usually have every single time? Why is it not? There it is. It was trying to hide. White. So, does the story seem fun?
Yeah, I mean, you have jokes.
Do you like the characters, I guess is what I'm saying, because obviously I'm not going to just not jumping right into it.
Yeah, it seems fine to me. And again, it's only... How many pages is that bad boy?
It's like 2,000 words, I think. The one that I sent you is almost 3 now.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's only...
Out of 10.
2.5 pages? I guess it's 3.5 pages.
Well, it's 2.5 pages of single space.
I know.
So, and
still,
it's not formatted for short story yet, but they don't want it. They don't want it short story formatted. I'm kind of confused about that, really. Like, why wouldn't they want standard formatting? There's a reason
kind of weird.
Huh?
It is kind of weird.
There's a reason for standard formatting other than you know how many words are on a page and an estimate of how many words are on the page just from that, you know.
Right.
So that strikes me odd, but I like the idea of it being pretty much open to whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about. I didn't put any black on there. Imagine that. I'm still going to be able to gray it out.
Just a question. This character doesn't have eyes, so how will he draw the tattoo with precision?
Because it's from your mind directly to our machine. Imagination.
Or maybe that's what makes it terrifying.
Yeah, well, I guess. I'm definitely not saying that's not possible either. I didn't put any black on here. So I should be back to doing the Winter Warrior, hopefully by Saturday.
Okay.
The guy at the Staples was a complete douchebag. There was nobody else there. I'm like, I need this by the night. He's like, there's 40 people ahead of you. It wouldn't be fair. There's nobody ahead of me. Nobody would know. Nobody. Who's gonna know? You're gonna call him and say I looked as far as skip ahead from one because he was here and you weren't? And the thing is that the people that normally are there, the guys I normally deal with, would have just done it. But they weren't there.
And what were you trying to do then?
What's that?
What were you trying to do at Staples? You were trying to enlarge something?
Yeah, the drawing.
From how large to how large?
Well, it's 11 by 14, and I wanted it to enlarge to an 11 by 17 height. Because I'm going to put it on a 16 by 20. So I'm going to have to fill a little bit, but I really wanted to mainly enlarge her, the warrior part.
Yeah.
So, like, if the caverns that are going off to the side kind of fade off, that's fine. I went to the copiers to do it myself, you know what I mean? Because they've got copiers there.
Yeah.
But I did it, and I did it on the darkest setting, and I barely, it's not darker than what it copied. It was so much lighter than what it copied.
That's like a 30-second job.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So I said, he was just fucking asshole. He didn't have to be. And if the guy that normally runs that department or that area was there, he would have done it for me. That guy would have started saying, oh, there's 40 people ahead of you. The guy would have just come and got it for me. Because I'm pretty steady and he knows what I'm doing and he likes, you know, he's seen my, like, comic book style art. So he would have been, he's been all over doing it to help. This guy, don't know me, don't know shit. He just was the power play. I don't want to do this. Probably it was like, oh, we got like an hour left to work. I don't want to do this. But like you said, fucking less than 5 minutes, he would have just enlarged it and darkened it in the same fell swoop, you know.
I just, as someone who's worked in a copy shop, unless like the machine is literally like being used. Like,
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. If it's not in use, why not run it real fast and call it good? And I get it if you're like, you know, like we would run course packets and stuff and on our big machine, and you know that could literally take 8 hours of one job.
Yeah, like if I was printing 70,000 or, you know, even 40 sheets or something like that, then I can understand them saying this is going to take a while to set up and print and all that, and I've got to make sure it's right and whatever. But this is just one copy and enlarge.
Yeah, that should have been nothing. Oh,
We don't have any other places to do it in town. He's like, oh, there's there's a UPS store. I'm gonna tell this boss too. Like, yeah, he told me to go to the UPS store. Like, yeah, he told me to take my business elsewhere. 'Cause that's basically what he did. Like, I don't even recognize the guy. I've never seen him before, so it's just. I really, truly imagined it's the end of the day and he just didn't want to be bothered. But, you know, that's a freaking job. I'm not trying to catch you while you're locking up or anything. Going, it's an emergency. I need this by tonight. It was like 3:30, and I know they don't close till after 5.
So yesterday I was kind of doing my Brandon Sanderson impersonation. Had on a blazer with a t-shirt underneath.
Blazer. Yeah. Were you also making gummy bears into little balls and throwing them to the students that answered correctly?
I don't share my gummy bears. I don't care what you say. Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, it was just kind of funny. And then my students were all like, "Why are you so dressed up today?" And I'm like, "Literally, I'm still wearing a t-shirt, guys."
It's funny. Brandon Sanderson was saying like he has that jacket. It's a tweed jacket. And he's like, this is the only one I have. I keep it in my trunk.
Nice. Oh.
That is students all worried about, you know?
Yeah, they just didn't understand. And then, because Tuesday I was at an AP conference, and then I show up the next day and I'm wearing this blazer. They're like, "Did you go on a job interview?" No. I went to a conference. You went to a job interview? No.
I'm tired you guys.
A conference just means they taught me stuff. But they were, especially the freshmen, they were freaked out. It's kind of funny. But that's why I like freshmen, because I think they're so funny. Like, yeah, they... Well, it's just, I don't know. They have more energy than about anyone else, and once you accept that and just kind of lean into it, it can be fun. Although, who knows? I'll probably get fired. So, I gave him an essay, and I wanted it to be relatively a short thing, so I didn't give him a whole bunch of time to work on it. They're like, "Well, how long does it have to be?" And I really hate that question, because, you know, as a writer, it's more difficult usually to get it under a word limit than to reach a word limit.
Well, only if you really love writing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But so I hate the question. So I told them what my 8th grade teacher told us. And I prefaced this with, "Please understand this is highly inappropriate. It scarred me as a child." So they're all interested. I was like, well, we asked my 8th grade teacher how long an essay should be, and he said it's like a woman's skirt. Long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to keep it interesting. And, you know,
hey, there you go.
The freshmen love that stuff. Which is why I always find it funny. but
Yep.
it's not a bad rule.
Yeah, I think it's kind of pretty good.
Other than the fact that
Kind of
this
like
day and age.
that would be accurate for writing historical fiction too, because what they say is, I mean, you got these people that are complaining that it could be more historically accurate and whatever, but it's fiction first,
right?
just set in history. But like when you ask like Bernard Cornwell, who's like one of the biggest names and one of the best writers of military type historical fiction, he says you only need to know enough about the subject to tell the story.
Yep.
So it's basically kind of the same thing. I mean, I'm sure he would be interested in that version.
Well, obviously, if the guy told it to me in 8th grade, and it stuck with me all these years,
Right, yeah.
it's pretty memorable.
All the things I was told in 8th grade that I remember for all these years are not appropriate. And I think maybe that's kind of the key. If you say something or hear something that is surprising, shocking, that doesn't treat you like a child,
Yeah.
I think those are the teachers that tend to be most effective. So that's all, man. The teachers that I remember most from school, that's exactly the way they were. They treated us like adults one way or the other. They treated us somehow not like just children, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I love history so much is because a few of my history teachers, 3 of them that I can think of, really approached it in a way that either immersed you or was no nonsense, no bullshit, no boring beat around the bush. They had some passion to it, you know. One of them was, 2 of them are also coaches. I think maybe now that I think about it, 3 of them were coaches. But one had a smaller classroom. It was probably maybe a 20 by 20 or something like that. Wasn't big, and it was like cabinets halfway up the wall, bookshelves the rest of the way up the wall, except for his desk with the windows behind it and the door, and that's it. Huh. But on those bookshelves were chains of bullets and emptied out grenades, you know what I mean, hollowed out grenades and things that were part of history, ships, like model ships of 17th century or whatever. And that really kind of cemented us in it. There was like helmets and all period accurate stuff. That really kept us in what's going on. Another one was a cross-country coach, which that was never my thing. I was never a runner. You couldn't tell by looking at me. But he had a passion for the Kennedy assassination. Stuff he shouldn't have been talking to probably with 9th graders about, but on test days he's like, well, you can take a test or we can watch this film on, on the Kennedy assassination. That's what
Oh,
we chose, you know? No brainer.
so you guys weren't idiots.
What's that?
You chose correctly.
Right, we got A pluses for it. We got damn good scores on test days. All we had to do was just, you know, go with the flow. Another guy was really passionate about the revolution. He was also a coach. I think he was a football coach. So, you know, these guys that were passionate about these things and coaches, they had something else that they could tap into to explain it to us, you know?
Yeah.
And they would be, for lack of a better term, unorthodox about how they went about teaching. Those are the ones that I remember the most. I remember a writing teacher that assigned us, and it was a 9th grade writing teacher. His first assignment to us was to finish The Lady and the Tiger. That left an impression. The way he played with it left an impression. There was no rules, you know what I mean? You could do whatever you wanted to. There was,
Yeah.
You couldn't write anything that he would say, you can't write that. And I always thought that was cool also.
Ishalot says he's going to sketch this character. I like the name Psycho-Slinger. I'll share it on Discord when it's done.
Oh, cool. I showed you the one that he shared last time.
Yep.
Okay, we'll leave this helmet alone for a minute. Or for as long as I can. Which may not be a minute. Hey, I got caught fighting in that English teacher's class. I walked in. I was a new student. I just moved. This other student was trying to bully me. That was not the year of bullying. That was the year that I was like not taking any shit from anybody. So he put me in a desk in the front of the room, one of those trapezoidal desks.
Okay.
And before class, I'm there, and that kid's trying to come over and start shit. So I walked around, and he ran around the back. So I just pushed the trapezoidal desk against him. I was about ready to crack him in the face. Like I had taken Taekwondo and learned a little bit of several different martial arts. Nothing completely, but a lot of the little ones. A lot of the little. And I was about ready to break his jaw. That teacher walked in. Sent me to the office. That school was so big that it had 6 principals,
Wow.
3,112 students.
That's pretty big.
Yep. It had 2 floors. There was a swimming pool on the 3rd floor. I don't know how or why they designed it that way. Yeah, it was quite an interesting time. That was in Nashville, and they had a school that was an opposing football team school, and I guess they were big time rivals. They like literally were burning each other's cars in the parking lot and shit like that. So one of those schools closed down, and its students went to that school, the other one. So that was the year I went. It was crazy. Crazy. Okay, I guess I have to put my glasses on now. Well, it started to become a place where my eyes are getting wiggy. They usually do as the night goes on. It's been reading glasses, really. I started realizing the last couple of years I was tattooing that I had missed meeting a couple of lines.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, time to get glass. Somebody had said, somebody wiser than me, that your eyesight, if you have great eyesight when you start tattooing, by the time you're 40, it starts to go. And I made it to about 48. 40, well, no, 47.
Well, I had LASIK done a few years ago, and they kept saying, more than likely, in 20 years or so, you'll need some kind of glasses if you don't need them like readers beforehand. I was like, whatever, I don't care. I mean, one of the main reasons why I wanted LASIK was so I could spar without having to worry about contact lenses.
Oh, yeah?
And I've tried sparring without contact lenses, and I can see the form that I'm hitting where I could, but you couldn't see the shuttle shifts of weight or anything. You couldn't see the flexes. It's just a whitish mass that's coming at you.
Yeah, you couldn't see the muscle tone.
Well, it's just, every little second helps, and you can't see it. Makes it a lot harder.
Right?
So, got the LASIK, and then,
what
COVID happened.
What are you studying?
Oh, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Like Master Hang On Lee's tradition, or?
I was part of the U.S. Chundo Kwan Association, the oldest Kwan in the United States. Officially recognized by Seoul.
Brought over by?
I believe Grandmaster Cell He brought it over. I'd have to look. I'm thinking around Vietnam.
Yeah,
But-
I was studying a form that brought over by Master Hanger and Lee. But I think they're contemporaries, I'm going to guess. A little bit of lessons in Kyoshiki Ryu Temple Jitsu. Not too much of that. That stuff was illegal to teach until 78. And I guess they don't teach their students really anything but sitting down and standing up for the first few weeks and then folding their gi to be able to stop a sword. I just thought it was taught like basics of the way they make a fist, and they don't believe in kicking above the waist. Because it opens up your balls.
That's interesting.
It is. They're bad motherfuckers, don't get me wrong, but they're just not what you expect. I guess once you've learned enough, you know that there's nothing that you should really solidly expect anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, I respect all forms because it's not really the form that makes the man. I've seen practitioners of all that are on both sides of the scale, you know.
Right.
Like, I've seen black belts that I actually held a black belt down with one finger.
Okay.
It was when I was a white belt. But I had a little going through instruction in the pressure point. So all I did was put my finger behind his ear where your jaw and your ear meet,
Yeah.
and hold him there, kicking and screaming until his daddy came and picked him up. And that was only because he wanted to assert his authority or some shit like that. If he'd have just been cool, then I wouldn't have done shit. Like, and then I know people that have not gone beyond red belt or whatever that can kick a lot of people's ass, you know.
Yep.
It's really not a. Guess it's really not about that. Depending on who you are, like, it never was about that for me. It wasn't about who I could dominate or whatever.
Oh, I never cared about anything like that. A friend of mine just suggested doing it with like his kids and my kids, and then he convinced me to join. He didn't tell me he was a black belt already, jerk.
So he convinced you to join for a reason.
Yeah, but whatever. And then I couldn't quit in front of my boys. I was like, "No, I'm not quitting." Like, the boys gave up, but I didn't. Like, no, I set out to get a black belt. I'm getting one. And there were plenty of times when I wanted to quit, but I mean, after my red belt test, I remember. So I got the belt. That was good. And we went out to eat afterward. So I had gone home, showered, changed clothes, and go to the restaurant. And we got boneless wings as an appetizer for the family. And I remember sticking my fork in one, and I just about needed 2 hands to lift it up to my face. I was just dead. And my wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, it's just too heavy. So I was so dead. And what's funny is I did not get that tired after my black belt test, even though the black belt test was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, but you're probably stronger by then, right?
Well, yeah, I was. I mean, it's better prepared, better, all that stuff, but it was still 4 hours in Kentucky, and I mean, the floor was just all these puddles of sweat. I mean, deep enough you could splash in them. Like when you threw somebody, they were going to splash. It was just. I remember we were doing a 2-on-1 sparring match as part of the test, and I was one of the 2 in this particular round.
Or
what?
Like a one-step thing, or?
Well, it's just they do 2-on-1 sparring, which is not anywhere near like my major complaint about 2-on-1 sparring is you can't do anything you would actually do in a fight. Because in a fight, you sum up who's going to drop fastest, and you drop them fastest, and then you worry about the guy that's left. But it's basically about running away and keeping one person between you and the other person, so that you're only fighting one person at a time. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So we're doing that, and it was me, another guy who was a black belt, and then the guy who we were fighting against was a 3rd degree, and he was part of our Kwan. So, I mean, I want to make sure he looks good, whatever, because that's kind of, why make your own school look bad? But we're sparring, and he doesn't need my help much to make him look good, except for he kicked me right in the crotch. Didn't mean to. I know he didn't, but he did. It just, kicked, I dropped, and I jumped right back up. And the judges were like, "Just stay down." And I'm like, no, it was good. It was precision. We're good to go. Like he had it under control. I just freaked out, which was a complete lie because it hurt like hell. But I wasn't going to make him look bad. It's just, that was a god-awful long test. And what's funny is now, just a few years later, my cardiologist would not believe that that's what I had done. It's like, you did not do a 4-hour long test. Not with your heart. And I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. But he wouldn't believe me until my wife came in and told him. No, it was a 4-hour long test. It was brutal. Because according to my cardiologist, I shouldn't be doing all kinds of stuff that I do. I think part of that, though, is all the problems with my heart are genetic problems. Like they've been there since birth, and we never knew about it. And so, without knowing there was anything wrong, I just assumed, oh, this is what everybody feels, and just kept pushing. Now that I know there's something wrong, I'm like, oh, no, don't want to do that anymore. Don't want to keel over.
Right? Priorities.
Ooh.
How's the tutoring going?
Well, it pays, so it makes it a lot easier. No, it's good. Last year, for years, I've told students I would stay until 5 o'clock or the last student, whichever comes first. And no one would ever want to stay because they just don't. Well, they'd ask, they had tutoring last year. I just didn't know how well it paid. So I didn't do it. they're like, well, why don't you come down to tutoring? No, if you want to do if you want my help, that's cool. I'll stay after school, but that way when we're done, I can go home. I don't have to worry about it. Well, this year, since I'm doing tutoring, I don't have to make that excuse. I can just say, hey, that's where I'll be. Show up, do your makeup work, whatever. And parents like that better, I think. So. And it goes by pretty fast. It's just, as long as you keep thinking, like in the morning, oh, it's just 1 hour. Or in the afternoon, it's just 90 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. But when you start thinking, yeah, that's a 10-hour day.
Well, you said it was catching up with you anyway. So, I mean, that's got to be, that would get old after a while.
Well, it's just, I can feel it. Ugh. Ugh. But like tomorrow will be the first paycheck I've had with some of the new money, some of this tutoring cheddar. So when that happens, it'll be, all of a sudden it'll be worth it again. It's getting to that part.
And then you go commenting on how exciting the show is.
Yep. It's really not a comment on your show. It's just a testament to not moving much.
Oh, I thought it was not a comment on your show.
No.
You made me think about going in early again. So you're writing a short story or novel now?
What?
Are you writing on your short story or novel now?
Well, I need to get that short story done before the end of the month. So I'm mostly focused on that. Which is kind of dumb, but
Did you send us the short story?
Did I what?
Did you send us the short story?
No. I mean, I gave you. You've seen part of it. You saw about 5,000 words of it. A little shy of that, but it's what I had at the time. Because, yeah, both you and Jake had said something about. You both had made comments that told me that I had failed to avoid.
Oh,
making
no,
it
no,
sound like
never
Star
mind.
Trek.
It took me a minute for when you said you and Jake. It was the one that I said something about Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How was that going?
Well, let me see something.
Like, sincerely, do you feel like it's going better?
I don't know. I mean, it's already 5,500 words, and I'm just a little worried how much bigger it's going to get. But yeah, whatever. I'll get it
Get
done.
to the end.
What?
Get to the end. Because you may be surprised at what you can cut. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
I know because you plan to cut. But what I'm saying is that you may be able to cut stuff that you didn't think you could.
Yeah.
And still have the same information there.
Well, I mean, I would say I'm almost to my climax, and that won't. I don't know. I feel like I'm going into the third act. Let's put it that way. I'm pretty certain the first and second act are done, and now I want we're rounding the corner. We're heading towards home.
And honestly, for me, that's the worst part.
Don't say that.
Well, I don't know what it's for you. It just is for me because for some reason, for me, I know where it's going. I know where it's got to get to. But for some reason, when I get to that part, it just slogs for me.
Well, that's the closer you get to the end, the longer it takes to write.
Right.
And I agree with that 100%. Because you just start slowing down because I always figure it's like when you start, you have an infinite number of possibilities, right? Even if you are heading towards a very specific ending, in the end, there are still an infinite number of possibilities on how you get there, right? And as you write the story, those possibilities start dying off. And some of those possibilities you know of, and it becomes very hard not to say what if, or how do I incorporate a little bit more of that? And then also you're like, oh, but I'm missing, like you're not quite hitting the mark like you hoped you would, because I've never written a story that I thought was exactly how I envisioned it at the beginning.
Well, I guess there's a little bit of that, but also for me, I don't want to let the characters go. By the time I get to the end of the story, I'm really involved with the characters,
Yeah.
And then I know if I let them go, I'm going to have to change them. But, yeah, I mean, for some reason, when I get to that last part, when I get to Act 3, like, I want to write it, I want to go back into that world, but yeah, I really don't want to do that. I don't want it to end, I guess.
Which is kind of funny, but yeah, I completely agree. It's just like when you read a book and you're like, I don't want to be this close. I mean, I want to get to the end, but I don't want to be at the end. Just want to enjoy it longer.
So, why speculative fiction?
What?
Why speculative fiction? Your favorite story is not a speculative fiction story. Why speculative fiction?
Oh, well.
Wow.
Why not speculative fiction?
I guess I didn't expect the I don't know answer.
I don't know.
Okay, if you don't know, then that's a valid answer. I just didn't expect it, that's all.
I know that for me, speculative fiction tends to be what I want to read, so that's what I want to write. Like, one of the problems I have, like one of the reasons why I have a hard time sitting still and reading for long periods of time is that if it's a good book, then my mind starts taking over as a writer and I want to write the story.
You want to explore it, yeah.
And if it's a bad book, then I don't care and don't want to read. So, you know, that's why I started writing speculative stuff. Like, I first started off with horror just because, I don't know, I suppose because my mom was a big Stephen King fan, and so I wanted her to like what I was doing, I think. I don't know. But then I quickly decided I don't think horror fiction is really all that scary, and I don't really, you know, ooh, look, it's a monster. And most horror stories have a serious problem with all you really need is a bigger gun. So, I don't know, I got disillusioned with it pretty early on, and I started playing more and more with fantasy, and yeah, that's more with what I want to read, so that's more about...
Well, I mean, the only reason I asked is because, like, when I ask you what your favorite book is, it always comes back to Great Gatsby.
Well,
And
that's
not speculative. I mean, no, don't get me wrong, I'm just curious, you know.
right, it's not speculative, but I think it's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I mean, like, I love Dune. I think Dune's a great book, but it took me a few times to get through. You know, there are some books, like I remember at one point in time, if you had asked me what's my favorite book, I would have said The Hobbit. And now,
I love The Hobbit.
I do not like The Hobbit anymore.
I love The Hobbit. I still do.
It's one...
I like it better than Lord of the Rings. I always have.
Well, I do like it better than Lord of the Rings, overall. But, I mean, some of that... Like, okay, first off, they never solve anything on their own. Like, it's always help from outside that's random. And then, I mean, here you have this big giant battle. Everything has been leading towards it. And the protagonist will be knocked out in half a second and then wake up and the battle's over. I mean, it's just like what? So... I don't know.
That wasn't his job. His job wasn't the battle.
I get that, but I mean, come
Well,
on.
The story didn't promise that. He was supposed to be a burglar and help them get their land back, not a warrior. That was boring. And yeah, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, as far as the story goes, that's not what it promised. Yes, it was leading towards the battle, but they only started really leading towards the battle when they had achieved the killing Smog. It wasn't leading towards the battle before they killed Smog. Nobody wanted to come and fight Smog with them. Nobody wanted to fight over Smog with them.
Oh.
It wasn't until they had gained that land back, but that was his job. It was done. He just
The story should have been done.
couldn't have got it settled. No, the denouement. The denouement.
What's the weekly art challenge going to be? Each lot would like to know.
I haven't really decided yet. I've got a couple of things in mind. Nobody has put anything forth that they would like to see. The last thing that they put forth was that woman, that girl, or whatever it was, and we did that. So I've got a few ideas. I think I want to play around with some villains. Because the heroes usually get used up very quickly. I don't know enough about manga. I mean, I know a few, you know, I might pick something manga, but I like to spread that out a bit. Make a suggestion. If anybody knows anything they want, they should make a suggestion. I told you guys that already. If you tag me in the chat with what you'd like to see for a challenge, I will put it on the list. Or at least my list. Nobody else may validate that list, but I don't know. Of the people, by the people, for the people kind of guy. Until you join the server, Brett, but I don't think you have time.
I don't.
Because if nothing else, you would get some practice for drawing and some references that you may not have thought about to approach an illustrative type of drawing.
Yushalot said, how about Cable from Deadpool?
Cable from, well, it would be Cable, not Cable from Deadpool. Like, it would just be Cable. And I think we did Cable not that long ago.
And he was from New Mutants.
What?
Well,
Yeah,
I know he's talking about the movie, I'm assuming, but...
Deadpool's
Okay.
from New Mutants, too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know he's talking about the movie too, but what I'm saying is that when I do the challenge, it's not specifically a movie or whatever. It's like, if you want to do Cable and there's enough people that or there's nothing else. But the issue with doing Cable is that it was like just I think that was only a couple of weeks ago that we did Cable. There's been a Cable, there's been a Deadpool, there's been Prophet. These are all Rob Liefeld characters that have movies coming up. I like to give them as much variety as I can when choosing what type of reference it is. So they don't
So you
feel
guys
like
all
they're...
supposed to... Is it all supposed to be the same thing, though?
It's All right. So basically, here's the thing: is I want something to draw. I don't know what to draw. Okay.
Okay.
And so we do a weekly challenge, and then we have a special room that you can display what you've done. Most people actually don't even take the time to go more than a day or two before they're, putting up raw sketches or whatever. But it's all about fun, so it's like the idea is that it gives you something to draw. It gives everyone the same subject matter to draw. But like we want to promote different interpretations too,
Ishalot says Gambit from X-Men.
I don't know if we did Gambit. We might have done Gambit fairly recently, because I'm not the only one that does the challenges. So, how about you go and scroll back in the challenge room, not the display, not the weekly challenge entry, but just the weekly challenge subject room. Go back a little ways and see what is there for how far back, because you can also grab something that's further back and just use it. You don't have to wait for a challenge. You can say, oh, this one's already been challenged. You just, when you post it, go, this is an older challenge. So if you want to do Deadpool, or if you want to do Cable, and it's already been done, you can say, oh, this is just an older challenge. We do mashups sometimes too, like that Captain America Hulk was a mashup. But one of the first challenges that I did around there was a Venom Punisher mashup. It was like Venomize your favorite character or something like that. That was even really loose, but it was just the idea that you needed something to draw. Here's something to draw. As far as I know, that is still how it is. That is how I play it. Just when you post in the this is your weekly challenge entry room. I just want you to be posting something that's in the weekly challenge entry, not just making some stuff up. Some people just try to make some stuff up and jump in there. They just don't understand that there's a specific challenge set forth every week. I see guys also that are putting up stuff that they've already done. Like they already displayed it as in the finished room. Like, so that's not accepting the challenge. That's displaying something that you already did and took your time with. It's kind of a weak limit. I mean, you don't have to. You can go with whatever you want to, but the idea is that you got a week to get it done.
You said it was in 2021. Was that Gambit or Cable?
Yeah, right.
Because I don't know. I mean, I literally don't know which one you're talking about. I don't know.
Right. It's a channel, a Discord channel.
Right.
It's just a sub channel. Like we will post a challenge and then pictures of who we're challenging you to draw.
Right, I would say Ishalot said it was in 2021, and I'm not sure if he's talking about Gambit or if he's talking about Cable.
I know, like, one of them was more recent, but who knows, like, 2021 wasn't so long ago when you look at it once a week, It's not like we do a challenge every day or every other day. It's just a once a week challenge, so.
Ishalot said it was Gambit from 2021.
Okay.
I'm just.
So we can probably, I'm listening. I'm addressing him as well. So.
Okay.
You want to do another Gambit one? Let's see if we can find one a little bit more interesting with Gambit. Here I was talking about not wanting to choose like one from the movie or whatever, and thinking if we do Gambit, we have to do something that we haven't already done.
It's been a while since I was really into comics, but has anyone ever done, you know, I know they did Old Man Logan. Is there an Old Man Gambit?
No, because he's dead.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Well,
like, is he dead, or is he just like...
Well, hold on. During Old Man Logan's time.
Okay. Well,
like, in the comics, there's like Old Man Logan and the Hulk. And I think there's one other guy that actually survived. But I haven't read them for a long time either. I mean, ever since they started doing the whole politically correct thing, I was like, yeah, I don't want to read a whole bunch of politically correct stuff. If somebody else wants to, that's fine. It's just not my bag. I might do Faust. I don't think anyone's done Faust. Or maybe not, because it's an all-age thing. I don't know if Faust would be safe for work. I guess you would if you don't, draw some of the inside panels. Specifically attacking a whole bunch of people like me, if you're scoring a psychiatrist. It's a great comic, but it's a mature comic, and it's really a dark comic. It's also where I got my tattooing name from.
I think I just realized I have a plot hole. Because, I'm going into that third act, so now's the time to realize, oh shit, there's a plot hole.
Did you write an outline? Do you write outlines?
I have an outline, or at least a generic, like a pretty general one, but, then as I write more details come out, and
no, I'm asking because it's been argued that that's the time that you look for plot holes because you go over it a few times and see what's missing or what doesn't work.
I didn't notice. Well,
part of it's because I extensive of an outline, so it's hard for me. I would love to learn to plot like that.
Yeah.
But then I think somehow if I did, writing would lose something for me.
Yeah.
Because part of the fun is actually exploring it as it goes,
Well, let
me rephrase that. I know
this came about because, in the outline it's kind of general when it got to this point, I guess, and then I made it more concrete, the story, and I'm pretty sure I can work my way out of the hole, but I'm gonna have to address the hole, even if you and Jake don't notice it. Ishalette says, what about Riddler?
I don't think we've done Riddler. How about that? That's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. I'm looking to X-Men that we haven't done yet too. Also, I don't think we've done Raimi or Cannonball or most of X-Force, just Deadpool and maybe Domino and Cable.
One thing I liked about the Batman, the last Batman film, is that Riddler was so much better than Jim Carrey's. Just so much better.
I didn't like him.
Well, that's okay if you don't like him. I didn't like Jim Carrey's Riddler. I was like, oh, you're doing the Joker and stuff.
So I didn't like Jim Carrey's Riddler either.
I just like someone who was...
Jim Carrey's a hard sell for me, actually. The things that I like Jim Carrey in most is the more serious role.
Here's a fun little thought for you.
I liked him in the Truman Show, I think, most.
I always thought he should play Roland Deschain in a Dark Tower film.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. 100%.
Doesn't Roland start off like a 12-year-old?
Roland?
Yeah.
In the first book, he's the
Starts off with a
gunslinger.
little boy in the castle.
In the first book, the first
Yeah,
line
well,
is...
so it starts off with the gun, or the man in black went across the plain or whatever, and the gunslinger followed. But his history is he's a 12-year-old gunslinger in a castle.
Well, they do show earlier parts, but again, all the stuff with Jake and Eddie and Susanna, he's a grown adult. And
Now, are you talking later books than the actual gunslinger? Because the only one I read was the gunslinger.
Yeah, but even the gunslinger, they have that, what is it? I think it's called Toll. He shacks up with that girl who has like the messed up face, and they have like Hey Jude playing in honky tonk on the piano and stuff, and there's the weird preacher lady, and all that's adult. So my thinking about the gunslinger and why Jim Carrey is because he could do a really good Clint Eastwood impression, like a really good one. And since Roland was based off the idea of Clint Eastwood, it makes a lot of
Ironic
sense.
as all hell nowadays.
Well, Clint Eastwood's a little old for that role now. Yeah.
No, it's ironic as all hell because Stephen King is completely opposite of Clint Eastwood. And when Clint Eastwood did the thing with the chair, he was all one of the ones making fun of him and everything else. Like, because he didn't understand he was an actor and he was playing a role.
I just, whatever. I'm just saying that in my brain it makes perfect sense, and I thought he could pull it off. It would be a role that was incredibly serious, and I think he could pull. After seeing what was it, 23, that he was in, where he starts noticing the number 23 everywhere, and it kind of drives him crazy.
Yeah, it's basically like The Frighteners.
Yeah. But, I just think he'd be good. I really do.
Yeah, maybe.
And he's never done an action film like that.
I wouldn't care to watch it, though.
I'm telling you, I suppose it's stunt casting in a way. But, I don't know. Ever since...
he's probably too old to play it now, too.
Yeah, probably. I'm just saying, ever since I saw Heath Ledger, turn into the Joker, because I was definitely one of those that thought there's no way Heath Ledger can play the Joker. And then as soon as I saw the picture of him in the Joker makeup, they're like, oh my God, that's amazing. I am much more open to, if an actor really wants it and they've displayed, you can get some amazing performances and be surprised. You could also go to shit, so who knows, but...
And I guess for me, I'm really tired of the superhero movies now. Like they've had their time in the sun, and I could use a break from them. An extended break from them. And I don't necessarily agree with the people that are lauded most for playing some of the roles that they're lauded for. Like, I don't know. Heath Ledger was okay. I didn't think he was as great as everybody else thinks. But, that said, I don't think he was terrible.
No, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I take it or leave it. And I realize that it's not, that's not the popular opinion or whatever, but
that's okay.
I've never been one to give a shit about whether it's the popular opinion.
And I'm not working. I mean, again, it's an opinion thing. That's perfectly fine.
No, I was just saying, my old lady was the new Batman one too. Amanda did, and I liked it despite all its problems, but it was chock full of problems. And you talk about plot holes. That thing was loaded with plot holes. It was alright. I liked it. It was entirely too long. Somebody told me early on they could cut out Catwoman's part and it would still be just as good as a movie, and I agree. Like, I don't think that she did a bad job playing Catwoman.
Right.
So I don't want it to sound like that because that's wrong. But I think that subplot didn't need to be in that one. It only introduces Batman and Batman falling in love with her kind of early on, but he didn't fall in love with her early on. That wasn't until much later. And if he's supposed to be the young Bruce Wayne and just learning to be Batman, that kind of goes against that theology theory, whatever. I don't know what you call it. But something ain't right about it. I didn't think Hugh Jackman was going to be a good Wolverine when they first introduced it, actually.
Well, especially when you hear how tall he is.
Well, yeah, that didn't worry me too much because movie magic, they've been doing that shit forever. And I don't know, originally if I heard how tall he was. But I just didn't think he was going to play the part well. I actually was interested in seeing how Danzig was going to play the part because he was trying to get the role. And he's the exact height of Wolverine, and at that time, he was pretty built.
Well, they had cast somebody else for Wolverine before Hugh Jackman got the part. And then there was a I forget what it was. It had to do with scheduling, I think. Some other movie had reshoots or something that the guy was contractually obligated to do. And so they ended up calling Hugh Jackman kind of like at the last minute. Which is kind of why the first Wolverine and the first X-Men, he's not as muscular as he is later on.
Oh yeah, he definitely went there.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to stop doing the role. He's like, I'm 50-something, and, getting in that kind of shape sucks. Yeah, sure it does.
So
That's why you get paid millions of dollars. Now shut up and do it.
I hear people suggesting who should play Conan,
Yeah.
and none of it's Jason Momoa. Although I think Jason Momoa didn't do a bad job playing Conan. They chose poorly when they scripted the movie and directed the movie.
I agree. I would keep him. 100% I'd keep him. I'd make him grow more facial hair for the role because he tends to look better with facial hair.
Conan doesn't though. Conan specifically shaves. Shaves for the 80s. He also has a scarred face. Also, Conan is a descendant of Kull,
Yeah.
which I never approved of Kevin Sorbo as Kull. But Conan is a descendant of Kull, and Kull is 7 feet tall.
Oh.
And he's a barbarian. He's like a big barbarian. Now Conan's big. He was 6 foot tall when he was 17 or something like that. But he was always, I mean, it's always been a bull neck and all this description for him, but he was never really described in the same category as Kull until much later. He was described wolf-like. He was an agile thief and all that, which Schwarzenegger really doesn't come across to me as agile. He comes across more like Kull, actually, just a shorter version. But like I've seen a whole bunch of recent discussion about who should play Conan. One of them was Alan Richardson. You know who that is?
No, let me Google it.
That is the guy who played Hawk and Hawk and Dove, and he played Reacher.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him from Reacher.
He's blonde, usually big, and he would probably be a fitting Conan fit.
I think he could work.
I've got a kind of crazy idea, actually.
Yeah? What's that?
Thor.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah. That dude got super ripped for Thor. He got so ripped that people were kind of back in the way. Didn't like the idea, I guess, you know. But that dude got so ripped, and he's just big enough, and I think he's been typecast as the kind of big dumb goody two-shoes for so long.
Yeah.
That I would love to see him in a role that isn't. I also think
What about Henry Cavill?
no, I shouldn't just outright say no, because he probably actually would do a pretty good job. And he does have the blue eyes, and he has the natural color hair that matches. But he doesn't have a command with his voice. Like, I haven't heard it anyway. Like, I haven't heard him. Everything I've heard is like kind of quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I missed something in some of the movies, but when he played Sherlock Holmes, he's kind of quiet. When he's playing The Witcher, he's very quiet, doesn't have a commanding voice. I don't think he even used the commanding voice of Superman, not that I saw. And Conan's got to have a commanding voice. Another guy I thought of for the role was Nathan Jones. You really don't see him because you don't see him in a very vocal role because he plays the bad guy, villain in most of them.
Yeah.
But that's a big dude also, and he's got a commanding voice, you just don't see it very often. So I wonder how he would do. Of course, Conan's a property that's near and dear to me, so I would be super picky about how he did. Henry Cavill could look the part, actually, because he's not super huge. He's built, but he's not super huge.
Right.
And I actually have given thought to him too, but I think Chris Hemsworth is just such a big guy who's got a commanding enough voice that he might be a believable one. You'd have to do something I hate though. You'd have to dye his hair or, give him a wig or some shit like that. But they did, they did that with Gerard Butler with filming. He might have made a good Conan too. At one time. Who would make a good Cull would be like the dude that played the mountain that rides, Hathor. Because Cull was so big that he killed the king and defeated the king with his axe. And the king was, I guess, he was a mad king, but the way Howard set him up was that all of the people in his court were secretly plotting to kill him and take the crown anyway.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of political intrigue, which you really don't see much in Howard's stuff. I can't help but keep coming back to Howard stuff too.
So out of curiosity, why not Dwayne Johnson?
I don't like his acting.
Okay, fair enough.
He's saying, but like, there's a lot of guys. If you read Conan books, there's a lot of guys that are just as big, and he looks like some of the people that fought with Conan, but he doesn't look like a northerner. He doesn't have pale skin. He doesn't have like weather-beaten pale skin. He doesn't have blue eyes. And I wouldn't want to see Dwayne Johnson with crystal blue eyes, cold, stormy blue eyes. And that's a definitely description of Conan. A big part of him is the eyes.
I'm just thinking, he's got the voice. He does, back when he was wrestling.
He's got a voice, but he doesn't have a commanding, believable voice. I wouldn't listen to him like he's a sergeant or he's planning a battle or something like that. He wouldn't convince me that he's got those kinds of skills. Like Russell Crowe's voice on Dwayne Johnson's body. You know what I mean? Like, and Dwayne Johnson's body is too not descriptive, not fitting the description of Howard. I don't like Hollywood trying to race swap everybody all the time. Conan doesn't need race swap. He's not a Conan. There's plenty of other characters that he could be. Conan is not one of them. plenty of other characters he's already been. He doesn't need to be Conan. But on that kind of a subject, Vin Diesel could maybe.
No, I don't think so. He's already done it.
He hasn't done Conan.
Yeah, he did that other guy that was basically Space Conan.
What?
All
I
the
know you
Riddick
ain't talking
films.
about Riddick.
Yes, that's Space
Riddick is
Conan.
not Conan.
It
not
is
at
Space
all.
Conan.
He is not at all.
Oh yeah, that especially
all.
that second film with the Deadites, which are basically just, you know, space wizards, and he goes, defeats them, and takes the throne. Like it's straight out of a cover from Conan, except for it's in space.
No,
It is so Space Conan.
disagree.
Okay, well, you can be wrong. It'll be okay.
You can be wrong too, obviously.
Oh,
No fucking way that's Space Conan.
oh, it is absolutely 100% Space
Not
Conan.
even close.
100%.
Wrong.
Absolutely.
100% wrong. I agree.
In fact, I bet you if I did a Venn diagram, it would be one circle.
What?
Like, yeah, it would be a Venn diagram. It's basically one circle with two little slivers, one for fantasy, one for space. That's it. That's the only difference.
I don't buy it. He's not Conan. Conan's not a fucking Furion. He's not a criminal that paid for special eyes. He's not any of that bullshit. Conan is what he is because he's determined.
Riddick doesn't pay for special eyes.
Yes, he did.
Those are the eyes of his people.
Nope, he paid to get his glimmer. He paid for them in prison to get his glimmer. Listen to the movies.
Okay.
I've got them all. He tells you. He tells you in the one where he went back to the prison. He says it to, Cole Younger, right? No, he says it in the first one in Pitch Black when the girl that's disguised as a boy says something, and he's like, you gotta pay for an operation to get your glimmer in the eyes or whatever so you can see in the dark. That's yeah. He might be an attempt at a sci-fi Conan, but he's not Conan.
Yeah.
Conan's not of an indestructible race or any of that bullshit. He's not of a special race. I mean, he's descended of an Atlantean, but that's only on one side. And the Sumerians were attacked and killed for the most part. He was a wanderer. Conan was Conan because every time that Conan was what he was because every time that he went into an adventure, every time he went into a situation, he would have to learn about something new and overcome it. He didn't actually directly fight mages most of the time. If he fought mages, generally he would go get a mage to bring with him. He was afraid of magic. He was afraid of the dead. Sound like Riddick?
I would still suggest that Riddick is space.
I know you would
Space
still
Conan.
suggest it, but that doesn't mean it's right.
Okay, it is though.
It's not. Not even close. You may want it to be, but it's not. Riddick is not, I give you my word and stand by it. He actually did the exact opposite in one movie. He's not a don't harm women and save innocent women or spend his money on baubles for women kind of guy either, which is Conan. Most of Conan's adventures, he gets himself in trouble by making a promise to a woman and keeping his word. That is opposite of Riddick. Riddick is entirely supposed to be an anti-hero. Conan's not. It's fundamentally different. Riddick wasn't born on the battlefield. And it's so weird because it changes actually mythology over the course of movies, because in the first one, he basically says that he is what he is because he went to a prison and he became what he was in the prison, which in the Chronicles of Riddick, which is one of the ones that you were talking about, because there's like 4 of them, 3 of them.
There are 3 of them currently.
And each one has a different theory. One is more that he's a Therian. Another one, I think the one that you're talking about, where he got control of the... Well, maybe that was the one that he was a Therian. I don't think so. Or is that where the second one was the one where... he was in that prison that he had gotten the shine done on his eyes. The shine job is what he called it. And I'm not saying they weren't trying to do that, but that's not Conan.
No, it's Space Conan.
Conan is not Conan because Conan has a certain degree of morals and rules and standards he lives by, whereas Riddick doesn't. It's a super important thing in Conan's life to live by those rules. That's like if you're trying to say, oh, he's a space version of Druss. Well, yeah, he could be a space version of Druss, except for that Druss has those rules that he lives by, which is totally different. Scorpion King is the same thing as Conan. It's just, it's not.
Okay.
Just because he's a big dude doesn't make him Conan. Like I said, they may have wanted him to be Conan, but that's not true. If they tried to make him Conan, they failed.
Yeah, so I'm watching silently this trailer for Riddick, which is the 3rd film. And I know I've seen it. Like, I recognize parts of this.
Right?
I have
That's the
no
one where
idea.
he's in prison?
I don't know. He's on some planet. Has Dave
the one
Bautista.
Yeah, but it starts off with him and Cole Younger. Not Cole Younger, Cole Hauser. Why do I keep saying Cole Younger? Because he's on Yellowstone now. In the very beginning, he's captured by Cole Hauser and his bounty hunters, and they're taking him back to the bounty. That's where they take him to the prison that he escaped from in the first place. Yeah. I know quite a bit more about Conan, so I can't see them as the same character. I can see him trying to be a copy of Conan, but he's not Conan. I've seen a lot of poor copies of Conan. A lot of poor copies of Conan. But saying
Shot says he has to go.
yeah, I saw
Oh,
said that
6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're real
I looked
fast
over, but I'm not going to say bye if he's already gone. That kind of a waste of time.
Eh,
Nobody wants to hear us arguing, but we should have higher ratings when we argue.
oh.
Yeah. No, I don't agree just because of the honor bound thing. That's a big thing because Conan doesn't make a promise and not keep it. How many actual Robert E. Howard Conan stories have you read?
I don't know, because we had one when I was growing up. Probably only the one. Although, God bless, that's a long time ago. I wonder if I could find it on Amazon.
Well, he only wrote so many stories, and he only wrote one novel. And there's collections on Amazon of all those stories.
Nope.
Like, because if you haven't actually read Conan and you're relying on the John Milius movie, it is not Conan. It's pretty cool, but it's not Conan.
Actually, I think I read more of the comics.
And that's a little bit closer depending on which comics that you read, because Roy Thomas actually went to the Robert E. Howard family. I don't know how important he made Conan's work to Conan. Yeah, I guess he had to. You see that quite a bit in how he is with women. Like all the complainers complain that he's a womanizer, but they also don't take into account that while he's a womanizer, he does all kinds of stuff to protect women, and women are the reason for his being, pretty much. Almost every adventure that I've read him in, or read of him, he gets into it over something with a woman.
Well, isn't that the way it always is?
The novel that Howard wrote, Howard the Dragon, he's already a king there, and he gets captured and put into a dungeon, but by a wizard. And if you notice, it's always by an evil wizard, not by the authorities, not just random authorities. They're almost always under control of either an evil wizard or some despot that thinks he's controlling an evil wizard. But yeah, Conan doesn't fight an evil wizard by himself ever. At least not that I have read so far. And I've read quite a few of them. Not all of them. I've read a whole bunch of pastiches. Now I'm going to have to go and look at Riddick all over again.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I wanted to. Like,
There's nothing wrong with watching more Riddick.
except for that.
Now when you watch it, you'll go, oh, that is Space Conan.
No, I won't.
I know you won't. Even if it was 100% accurate, you'd be like, no.
Because it's not really 100% accurate. But I don't really want to watch the Riddicks over again because none of them are really great. You know what I mean? None of them were so memorable that I'd want to watch them. I hate the one that's got Carl Urban in it. Carl Urban, right? The one that plays Emer, and he plays Billy Butcher.
So the second, you mean the one where he
Red
with the Deadites? I think they're called
Yeah.
Deadites.
Yeah. I hated that plot. It's fucking stupid all the way through. And I can definitely see where you're drawing on Conan for that movie, but
Oh yeah.
it was just stupid. It didn't achieve the same thing to me at all.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, when it got to the end, I was, like, very disappointed. The whole, he's ruling it because he defeated it. Yeah, whatever. Like, Riddick, no matter which movie it is, all of them have scenes that I think are really cool.
Yeah.
But I could probably cut out all the scenes in all three movies and maybe make one movie that doesn't really have a beginning or end. That's primarily why I don't really want to rewatch the Riddicks. I think I own them, but like at the time I wasn't as widely read in science fiction. When that first came out, Pitch Black was sci-fi. That was when sci-fi was calling themselves sci-fi, not SYFY.
You ever wonder why there's no Stainless Steel Rat movie?
Stainless Steel what?
Did you ever read the Stainless Steel Rat?
The Stainless Steel Rat?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh my gosh! It's a great series. So, well, I don't know if I'd say the whole series.
Let me
is great.
guess, it's about a stainless steel rat?
No, it's a sci-fi series around a thief, and it's so fun.
I should have figured that.
There was out of one of the books, I remember he's trying to infiltrate or do something, I forget what. So he's going to this amusement park, and he wants to look younger, so he has to dress like the kids. And he's like, so he rolls one pant leg up, and keeps the other one long. And at the time when I read that, which would have been sometime in the 80s, I thought that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of. Nobody will ever do that. And then, what? Late 90s, early 2000s? What are kids doing? They're rolling up one pant leg and keeping one straight. And I was like, holy shit. That guy
Well,
called it.
That was from the 80s. You probably don't remember because you were younger in school, but people were rolling up one pant leg because when you rode the 10-speed, that pant leg was often getting caught in the chain. You know, I think the 90s they started coming out with these little kind of garter straps for your pant legs.
Yeah, I don't think you're. No, this was what happened in the late.
That was in the 80s. You remember? You probably don't. You remember Kevin Bacon doing Quicksilver?
Kevin Bacon doing what?
Quicksilver.
No.
The movie about guys on bikes delivering packages. They're messengers in New York with bikes.
Oh. God, no, not that.
Huh?
Nope.
Well, you would have seen that in there.
Don't think we're talking about the same thing, then. I really don't.
Holding up a pant leg. I don't know how high they're supposed to roll than what you're talking about, but they were rolling up their right pant leg because the bike chain would catch them if you didn't. So that was just one of the standard things they did.
I'm talking like clear up to the knee.
And I'm saying that idea might have been seated in something you saw.
Well, except for they were written like in the 60s.
Okay. I don't know how long they've been doing that. I'm just saying. I know that they were rolling one pant leg up for a long time because bike chains we would catch them. So I'm not saying that's what behind it, but it's possible. I don't know how long they've been doing that.
And I don't think there was ever a mass craze of people, maybe for cyclists, but that was never a popular trend until sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s.
No, that was pants down around your ass.
Well, there's that too, but no, I'm talking about they would roll up a pant leg up to like their knee, and then the other pant leg is just left straight, and then that's how they wear them. I mean, it's just dumb. For no purpose. I'm not talking about cyclists. I'm not talking about people on bikes. I'm talking about people get on a bus to school, go to school, get on a bus, go home, and the entire time they've got one leg rolled up because they thought it was cool.
Okay. And that was not my time period. What was in my time period was only cyclists rolling up one pant leg so they didn't get caught in a bike chain. I wasn't in school at the time period you're talking about. Even that, hold on. It would not have been something I had seen. So, I have not read that. I obviously have either not noticed the trend or noticed a different trend. I don't know if you want to continue from there, but you can.
Yeah, so this is an article from 2013, LL Cool J wasn't the first to roll up one of his pant legs. And it goes through and talks about how it's a current trend. And
Okay, I wasn't around there. That wasn't what I was doing then. When was it?
well, the article is 2013, but it says it was a 90s style trend. And he used to roll up the left leg of his pants. And
Okay, there's a lot of stupid shit happening there. So.
he says, you know what? I have huge left calf muscles. They need room to breathe. I haven't done that for years, though. It's a style from New York. And then Whitney Houston
Yeah, I was
said
in
that...
Florida that time, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that would be a massive difference. I was either in... Well, it depends on what it was. I think I noticed it more when I was in Las Vegas, which would have been around 2002.
Yeah.
However, okay, just to point this out, the masterminds behind the fad were New York bike messengers from the late 1970s and the early 80s. One of the messengers' signatures was to roll up a pant leg to avoid getting their trousers caught in their bicycle chains. So you're absolutely right. New York bike messengers used to do it, and that Kevin Bacon film you said absolutely makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was a much bigger fad. Late 90s.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't bad. I'm just saying that I remember it from then. So.
Well, again,
That's
to
also
understand this-
not quite the same thing we're talking about either, right? So. You're talking about rolling the leg up way more than I was talking about.
well, that's what I kind of wondered. I thought it was like, but again, I'm just pointing out, you have the origin of it correct, I think. The fad of it kind of emphasized it even more. And the fact that it was a fad, that spread a lot bigger than just New York.
You were saying it was in a book. So.
Well, I'm just saying the guy wrote the book decades before, and he called it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't know about that book. I have not read that book, so obviously I can't say anything about the book at all. But I did recognize that from what I recognized it from. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Did not read that.
No, I mean, it's fine. It's just,
like, I was told when we were at Hat Track, and actually I think maybe it was even before you got to Hat Track. There was some kind of challenge that they were talking about, which I don't know if you remember, but Kathleen used to post stuff like that if she found something. Like if there was a competition or contest or whatever.
okay.
But there was something to do with a short story like that, and I was like, one time I tried to make up my own language. And it was just before the huge split over religion and gay happened. And I was trying to do a sister thing and was mentioning a group that was like the Sisters in Shawshank.
Okay.
And it was right about the time that all that crap started happening, and didn't have my finger on the pulse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, did not realize that I was insulting everybody that was all. I didn't even know there was a politically correct, let alone insulting everyone that was politically correct over something like that. But apparently I did, so I learned my lesson from then on. I'm like, fuck that. Fuck your creating languages. Go fuck yourself. Don't tell me to do like they did in Clockwork Orange because I saw what you did.
Okay.
And anyone that read it knew that that wasn't the point of the story. That was just someone in the story, right?
Yeah.
It was very much more like a kind of noir detective thing. Much more like Blade Runner, I would hope to relate it to it that way. But it was taken so fucking out of context, man. It's like I'm not playing this game anymore. So I respect people that got away with it, but nowadays they probably wouldn't. So then cultural appropriation or some shit like that.
All of that's design. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, the more I think about this, I was watching a video about, I don't know, some Italian recipe thing. And the guy's talking about kind of like how like merchant ships from Genoa came down to Sicily with and they had a particular dish that the Sicilians liked. But the
Are you talking about like a cooking show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
okay.
The Sicilians didn't have all the ingredients naturally there, so they changed things up and it became a different dish. And that's how things. You start one place, but it spreads, and then it has to adapt and then grow and get whatever adds to the whole experience. Well, when you hear people talking about cultural appropriation, they'll say they don't mean this to stop the spread of whatever it is that you are supposedly appropriating.
Right.
But in practice, it means that you have to have the right heritage in order to do whatever it is they're talking about.
Well,
and the only people who don't have that right are white people.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword too, because they don't want you to write about white, straight characters, but if you write about anything else and you're not that,
right,
then you're appropriating or insulting or whatever the case may be.
Basically, you can't win, so don't play. I just don't play that game. I mean, I just refuse to. I don't care.
Yeah, that's where I am pretty much now. And that's why. That's one of the reasons that I want to do this and build this channel, so that people don't feel like they have to stick by somebody else's standards for it to work. Because there's plenty of people out there that will read, write, draw, collect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any kind of whatever. It doesn't. Anyone that tells anyone that you have to do it this way or have to do it that way, they're full of shit. They're not going to pay your bills either. You know what I mean? They're not going to buy your stuff because you're fucking succumbing to their bullshit.
That's why, I mean, I like what Quentin Tarantino said about, because, he gets asked about how he writes and, his use of language and all this stuff. And
Jeez.
And he's like, who are they to tell me what I can say? I don't care. Fuck them. And I'm like, yes, there you go. Because your dialogue's still good. I don't care.
Yeah, well, right. Like, when I say he cheats, I'm not talking about politics.
Oh.
I think that's just stupid. I'm talking about, like, for instance, I stopped watching The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
Within the first few minutes because of cheating.
Alright.
Those characters knew each other, pretended like they didn't know each other until the last minute, and then he withheld a whole bunch of stuff that he was making obvious he was withholding. And I'm like, okay, so it's okay for you to withhold, but nobody else. And I also found, because I'm speaking of withholding at the moment, that there's a lot of withholding that's going on in certain styles of literature, in certain genres, if you will. Have you noticed that? Just me.
I did.
Certain styles, right? Alright, for instance, thrillers. It's okay to withhold. Matter of fact, they expect you to withhold. You can have a killer that you're surprised, you're trying to surprise the audience with who that killer is, but you can go from their point of view in the beginning.
Yeah.
I've seen this a couple of times now. Saw it with Reacher. One shot. The one they made the first movie on.
Yeah.
It starts off with the killer's point of view, but nobody knows who the killer is. Well, the killer knows who the killer is. He knows what his connection is. He knows what all that stuff is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they try to, but it's okay because of that style. Another author that's a well-known best-selling author in the thriller category, spy thriller category, and other thriller category, started off with somebody murdering somebody, and that being like a key character. That what gets me about it was that he didn't have to withhold. Like, he didn't even have to show that scene. They could have just found the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't important to the story how they were killed, or even why they were killed. So I'm like, kind of mixed about that. But we're told in speculative fiction that we shouldn't use metaphors, because people will believe those metaphors are literal, and that we can withhold and remain in point of view. But I see it all the time in other types of fiction, and they're fiction. They just don't have a speculative element that they're withholding. I guess I'm going to call this for the night, because not only is nobody else watching, it's 2 minutes till 11.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, right?
I am so surprised. I mean, I'm just letting you know, like, it started off, orangey sepia toned.
Yeah.
And then now you've just, I mean, it's an insane transformation.
I'm gonna change it all over again.
That's fine. It's still interesting.
I'm gonna wash everything in my green gold.
Cool. That's fine. I mean, I just
eerie light, but yeah, like it definitely has. I like to paint with warm underpainting, but he needs to be cool, like literally.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm saying, I think it looks neat. I mean, I really do. And the process is neat. Because when you first started putting like that stuff, the color on his forearm, whatever purple, indigo, blue thing it is.
That's a mixture. It's purple, but it's a mixture, let's say a dark violet or something.
Okay.
Maybe. Because it's a mixture of ultramarine blue and quinacridone magenta.
Well, when you started putting it on, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And I think that's so often.
It just kind of darkens it, right?
Yeah, but it's just kind of fun. Like, I'm just watching it, and because your process is definitely not anything like I've done.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
it's all about building the layers, and I'm using someone else's process, so I'm kind of still learning the process a little bit too. When I used to paint with, when I first started painting with acrylics, I would paint it much more like it was painting with oils.
Yeah.
I would use regular acrylics, and I would just layer the colors on there and kind of mix them as I was going, or put a light wash
Yeah.
over where I wanted to blend. And that wasn't even too much. I would just use the colors to get where I wanted to go. So it was really kind of like a rough, almost impressionistic oil painting. But what I'm using is I'm trying to employ Michael Whalen's style. And he builds up these very, very thin layers. Well, I already had a base coat on here, so all this stuff is a layer. I just don't have the size brushes to do like a sweep across the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm already either gonna have to paint this in a different color,
Yeah.
because I've washed over it a little bit with some of the
Right.
reds and magentas and stuff like that. And I probably could just go back over there and paint the white at the end, but I'm also tempted to, like I was saying, tempted to just say screw it and do colors all over the place, and then at the end build up a color for that strip that's different, so that it's I don't even know. It's just playing around with something that's been around a long time. It's him that I really want to finish, but even that, like I have to let that build up. So I don't even know if I'll be working on this next week. You know what I mean, or Saturday, because hopefully I'll be starting the other one on Saturday, which I also bought, which I didn't say anything about, but I said it to you, but not to the camera. So I bought Winsor & Newton art mask fluid, which is, I'll paint it over it, and it's basically like taping masking tape or something to block it. But I'm not going to use it on paper. This is already bad enough because the tape's going to rip up the paper, even though it's artist tape. So, alright, so that's it for today. I don't ever finish anything in one day anymore. Just drawings, that's it. I guess that's because I'm so used to drawing so much in one day. So everyone that's watched, hit like, subscribe, thanks for watching. And that's it for today. Thanks for involving the chat. What is his name again? Echelot, right?
Yeah.
Echelot.
Echelot.
Yeah. Very cool. Good night. God bless. I love you all.
Peace.